If life starts approximately 1 billion years ago, we will have to wait 400,000 years to see the aberration of the first nerve cells. This is where life as we know it begins. Brains in formation of only a few milligrams. It's not possible to determine any sign of intelligence yet. It acts more as a reflex. 1 neuron, you're alive. 2 neurons, you're moving. And with movement, interesting things begin to happen. Animal life on Earth goes back millions of years, yet most species only use 3 to 5% of its cerebral capacity. But it isn't until we reached human beings at the top of the animal chain that we finally see a species use more of its cerebral capacity. 10% may not seem like much, but it's a lot if you look at all we've done with it. Now let's discuss a special case. The only living being that uses its brain better than us, the dolphin. It is estimated that this incredible animal uses up to 20% of its cerebral capacity. In particular, this allows it to have an echolocation system that is more efficient than any sonar invented by mankind. But the dolphin did not invent the sonar, it developed it naturally. And this is the crucial part of our philosophical reflection we have today. Can we therefore conclude that humans are concerned more with having than being? For primitive beings like us, life seems to have only one single purpose: gaining time. And it is going through time seems to be also the only real purpose of each of the cells in our bodies. To achieve that aim, the mass of the cells that make up earthworms and human beings has only two solutions: be immortal or to reproduce. If its habitat is not sufficiently favorable or nurturing, the cell will choose immortality. In other words, self-sufficiency and self-management. On the other hand, if the habitat is favorable, they will choose to reproduce. That way, when they die, they hand down essential information and knowledge to the next cell, which hands it down to the next cell, and so on. Thus, knowledge and learning are handed down through time. Let's imagine for a few moments what our life would be like if we could access, let's say, 20% of our brain's capacity. This first stage would give us access to and control of our own body. Well, for the moment, it's just hypothesis, I confess. But if you think about it, it's troubling to realize that the Greeks, the Egyptians, and the Indians had notion of cells centuries before the invention of the microscope. And what to say about Darwin, whom everybody took for a fool when he put forth his theory of evolution? It's up to us to push the rules and laws and go from evolution to revolution. 100 billion neurons per human, of which only 15% are activated. There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access. Well, the next stage would probably be control of other people. But for that, we would need to access at least 40% of our brain's capacity. After control of ourselves and others, comes control of matter. But now we're entering into the realm of science fiction, and we don't know any more than the dog who watches the moon. By the time I was in the 11th grade, my focus had shifted from me being an actor to what I was going to be doing in life. I wanted to be in the military. I wanted to be a fighter pilot. I wanted to fly airplanes. So that was my focus from about the 11th grade until I got into the Air Force. But when I got in and started to live that life, it occurred to me that I had been functioning from my romance with movies. You know, you've seen all these war movies, and so you're thinking reality when it's all make-believe. you're really expecting a camera to be mounted somewhere on this thing. You're not expecting to be actually killing people. So get out of here and go on and be an actor. So that was it. It was just like one of those moments in your life when you have to change roads. You always make the choice in the road you take, but the road always splits, it always forks, and sometimes it might fork 3 or 4 different directions. When you have made your choice, it is providence that is your guide. Good, bad, or indifferent. Your fate lies in that. And as providence will guide you, I walked off the post in San Bernardino, out of the Air Force, free and clear, and I was only San Bernardino from LA, so it's a short bus ride to where I belonged, or thought I belonged at the time. I don't think wealth and genetics have anything to do with each other, actually. If you're born in the U.S., it really doesn't matter the condition of your birth. Mm-hmm. What matters is what you inherit from your nurturing, from your environment, whether or not you're going, I'm just from the standpoint of having been born with little. You can always get out of that. Say you're born as one of the untouchables in India, mm-hmm. There you are. And if you're born into the super rich, there you are. Here, you can be born to the super rich, but 3 or 4 generations down the line, it's gone. Mm-hmm. We still here don't abandon the idea that it isn't finite. Now, I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. I had a long haul from where I came from to here, but here we are. Right. So the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and here we sit at the dining table. Well, everybody can't. Everybody doesn't. Courage is the key to life itself. There are a lot of people who are born in situations where they say, I'll never get out of this. So they won't. I say to people who say, I would like to have done so and so and so. So, you could have done it. So, I couldn't get out of here. Man, the bus runs every day. As I said, I went to the movies all the time. I've seen the movies. And at some point, it struck me rather dramatically how much I wasn't in the movies. Not the way I needed to be in the movies. And if you look at a lot of the disaster movies in that period, the only people left on the planet were white. So now my thing is, if I get in the movies, I want to make sure that I speak about that. That if I'm able to do it, I want to talk about it. So there was a period there in the early 80s when I didn't get any work because I would ask these questions. I auditioned, or I don't think I even got to audition. I interviewed for the movie The Thing, the remake. So I read the script, and I go back for the audition, and the producer or the director, one of those, said, "Did you read the script?" I said, "Yes." "What do you think?" I said, "Well, we've got 11 people at the South Pole. 8 of them are scientists. And then you have a cook, a mechanic, and something else. They're all black. None of the scientists are. What do you think I think?" Needless to say, I didn't get that job.